Adrian Sutil making his return to Formula One.
A great story at the moment.
Doing a fine job, having been out of the sport for a year. He wouldn't ever be back in Formula One. Has just set the fastest lap of the race.
Certainly come back fresh, impressive performance.
Well, and what a way to come back into Formula One.
Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of Season as Sutil. This time we are in Malaysia and I had a glitch in the practice session. I could not actually change anything in practice. Parc Ferme rules were in effect and yeah, you hear him there, which was really weird. I've never had that before. Of course I can make the front wing adjustment, but I just left it as it is. But it looks like a full wet session out there, as you saw in the intro. So in Australia in the wet didn't go so well. I wasn't actually that competitive, but I felt a bit more competitive here, I think. And as we went out for our first wet run, things seemed very competitive, as in I was like going purple by a few seconds in the sectors. And when I was doing that, I was thinking, am I on the right difficulty here? Because this seems a bit easy, if I'm honest. And as I go across the line, I'm 3.3 seconds up on Daniel Ricciardo, who is the second place man. And in the wet, nobody beat me. I looked at the accelerated timings page and no one could beat me. So I was a bit puzzled on that. But otherwise, good pace in the wet. I felt quite comfortable here compared to Australia, where I was getting loads of wheel spin, especially off the slow corners. But this is a faster circuit, so that could explain it. But later on in the session, it was inters, and some people beat my time. Still not many, but I went out on the inter tyres, of course, and I set a lap, and yet again I was going purple. Not by as much as I did in the full wet conditions, but I was around 1.5 seconds quicker until Grosjean sets that time, which at the time I didn't realise, of course, because I didn't go through a sector split. But I went actually across the line here to be just under 2/10 off and second place in practice. So things looking up for me for the rest of this weekend. But we're actually going to skip straight to my quali 1 lap here, as we actually get through pretty easily. 3/10 behind my teammate, but I'm on the harder tyres. I wanted to try them out before I actually used them in the race. But that was pretty much it from Q1, not much more exciting. I just only actually quite got nearly close to being dropped out. I was only like half a second off or so. But in Q2, on the medium tyres, going even faster than I did on the harder tyres, which would be expectant. But yet again, the car was feeling good, and by this time in qualifying I did have the setup. It did allow me. Just wanted to tell you that there wasn't that glitch again. But a bit of wheel spin off there at the second to last corner, but correcting it nicely as we go down the straight to the last corner. And yeah, I got into the top 10 for the first time this season. A good lap really for me there. And as we go across the line, you see that we will go third behind Busson. But then I think, yeah, that's not good enough. Busson's not that fast. So I go around, I do it again, and I actually managed to go just under a second faster than what I did that previous lap, which I thought was an excellent lap. But this was even better, and up into the second session, nice and easy. But in Q3, I decided to leave it to 1 run, save my tyres as much as I can, and well, I don't know whether it really paid dividends, but McLaren were my main targets. They had both their drivers in Q3, and I actually got ahead of them, and I qualified in 8th place, 1.5 seconds I think off pole. But a good lap there from me. I think I could have done a bit better, maybe half a second quicker, but that was okay for the time. And as we move on to the race, of course this is the first time I'll be starting on actually tyres which I've used in qualifying, because last time I qualified 11th, although I started the race in 10th. And I was quite worried because in Australia, of course, I would start on brand new tyres, and the wear got pretty bad at the end of my stint, despite that. And of course, in this, I'll be starting on worn tyres, which means they'll be even more worn by the end of the stint. But the race gets started here anyway. We'll see what happens with the tyres. But as you have the 5 lights in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, it looks like I get a better start than Raikkonen, because I do get a better start than Raikkonen. And I have Jenson Button right behind me, not giving me any room. Coming up right behind me now, and we have the 2 Ferraris going side by side in front of me. I actually outbrake myself a little bit, hit the back of Hamilton, which I'm sure he'll be happy about. And I've got the Ferrari in front of me, and then Sutil goes a bit angry at Fernando Alonso as we head down the hill up to Sector 1, at the end of Sector 1, and as Hamilton cuts across me, of course I get a slipstream a bit. I actually tap Perez, and my engine's getting a bit hot running on rich fast with all this traffic, and I go down the inside of Hamilton and take it nicely, and I'm right behind Fernando Alonso, thinking I could take Fernando Alonso into this next complex of corners, but we'll have to see. I actually felt really good in these first few laps, but the problem was I could already feel the tyres not really gripping as well as I'd hoped. And sorry for the little fading effect there, I didn't actually mean to do it, because it's the same, it's just the carry on of this lap. But you can see that Fernando Alonso, Mark Webber goes wide, and Fernando Alonso has a go, and that slows him down. And then I decide to make kind of a lunge manoeuvre, but it's completely clean, no contact is made. However, Alonso actually runs off the road, and I gain into 4th place. So that was good. Yellow flag being waved, but then went green. He was still in the race, I think. He didn't retire. But as I got really bad wheel spin out of that second to last corner, things were okay. But on the second lap, the tyres are already gone. I outbrake myself into there, and Hamilton smashes the back of me, loses his front wing, and that was really bad. And I've got warning, cause a collision, and Raikkonen got away, so I moved down to 5th place, which is something that I didn't want to do. A massive wheel spin off the second to last corner on the second lap. I needed to get to at least lap 5. That was my aim, and I did. But you can see on the tyre wear meter, it was completely shot, especially my front left, just like I had in Australia. The front left was really going, and Perez managed to get past me with DRS, but of course I go in the pits for my pit stop a bit early. I actually wanted to go on lap 7, 1 lap later than most of the others would, like I did in Australia with my medium tyres. But of course option tyres, no, sorry, prime tyres, I'm getting this all wrong. But yeah, I couldn't on this stint. Too much tyre wear, and the tyres were just going off. The AI seemed to control their tyres a bit more than me. So as we go on to the hard tyres, the orange striped tyres, we actually have Chilton, yes, Mac Chilton, who overtakes me in the pit lane. I try to get back at him, but he just keeps it there. I try to dive it down, it doesn't work, and I have to follow him for these couple of corners. Didn't lose me that too much time, of course, because it's only a couple of corners. But Hamilton there, who pitted, has actually caught me up. He doesn't stay there though, he has to pit again. And I passed Chilton going into the end of the first sector, like I did on Hamilton on the first lap. Nice and easy, although running a bit wide. But you can see here, lap 7, and I passed loads of cars which have been in the pits, and that's a pretty easy pass. And I'm getting back up the order. These tyres nicely undercutting their old tyres, and then on lap 8 the same story. I actually moved back up to my previous position, which was 5th, and it's looking good in terms of that. You know, 5th place, 6 laps to go. Surely I can hold it, so it shouldn't be that difficult. Got some reasonable pace, but yet again that thing, this corner just gets me. I go off the road and I hit Massa. Massa's out of the race, and that's not good for Massa at all. But I gain a 20-second time penalty for it, which I think that's okay, because I kind of did go back on the track quite aggressively. And I went on the marbles down the second to last corner, and my tyres were completely going by this point. And plus the 20-second time penalty, I wasn't mad, I was just pretty annoyed at myself really. But you see that Perez and Grosjean have passed me here, so I dive down the inside of Perez. I can't quite dive down the inside of Grosjean, but I get the DRS on Grosjean as we go down the main straight. But yet again, he's still getting away, so I decided to use my curves, give myself a bit of advantage, and I actually pull off one of the best manoeuvres I think I've done into this corner. Really, really late lunge, completely clean, nicely done, and completely legal actually, so that was a good move. And then on lap 12 we can see Perez is having another go at me. He's going down the outside completely fine there, but I dive it straight down the outside, inside, I can't remember quite what I did actually, but I went on the marbles, and yet Perez just taps my back wheel, and then Hulkenberg manages to get past. But on the run to the line I make it, and unfortunately I actually fall down to 11th place, which meant I actually fell down the order in the championship to 9th, and Force India were down as well, as McLaren had also scored good points. But this has been it from me. This has been Alex Dopp. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.